Howdy, folks, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. Tonight we got another great show for you. As the dog is howling, he's my audience in the background, as you would figure. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and tonight we're going to talk about religion again. We're working our way up to Easter. Like it or not, religion happened. Did all the stories happen? There's got to be a bit of truth to all of that. Now, I would say you could search your mind about that, but regardless of how it is, but let's tune in and see what goes on. Now, I've read this book, and we're going to read some things out of this book, Escaping from Eden. If you haven't read it, it is from Paul Wallace, Escaping from Eden. He does have other ones, The Scars of Eden, and he has, I don't know where that one is, but anyway, those are the two we're going to go for tonight. Scars of Eden, and then he's got one more here that I had somewhere that I have now misplaced. Where it is, I don't know, because I thought I had it right here in front of me. But I also have Escaping the Cave, which is a very interesting book if you get to take a look at it. And we're going to be doing some things out of there and checking things out. Escaping the Cave is a very interesting book, considering it says that we are living in a created universe, and we are just puppets in all of it. And whatever is out there is controlling us and using our, our our energy. And it keeps making us rotate on this endless circle of life, sucking us dry from different things. It's a very interesting story. Let's see. Yeah, I'll just read you a bit out of it. I don't know. We're gonna start with a little bit on creation. This came about through mistake. Gospel of Phillips. The Gnostics, most complete myth we have on creation, comes from the Gnostics, who managed to hide a key codex in the hills above the Nag Hammadi, Egypt. Prior to their destruction by the Catholics in the 300s, every Gnostic that could be found was killed. So my question is what did they know? And every book that they had was burned. What did they know that they don't want you to know? Now, remember, they were burned and destroyed by the Catholic people, those goody two-shoe Catholic people. Anyway, now that's not you or me, but that is somebody. Okay, every Gnostic that could be found was killed, and every book they had was burned. How the Nag Hammadi Codex survived is something of a miracle in itself. The word gnosis means knowledge in Greek, but this is a different type of knowledge. The Latin phrase knowledge is a power to be found in the material realm. Gnosis, however, is freedom. Remember, knowledge is freedom. For it is the inner understanding about which is beyond this realm. Go figure, people. I got the Nag Hammadi scriptures here somewhere. Usually I keep them. I usually have the book right at my fingertips, but not tonight because I think I misplaced it. Now that I want it, I don't have it. Anyhow, well, which y'all know what the Nag Hammadi is. If you don't, go look it up. While several researchers have given their interpretations of the most creation myths of Gnostics, John Lash gives what I feel is the most complete about his book in 2006, Not in This Image. And his website, metahistory.org, go there for more details. Gnostics held about reality in the future chapter. We'll be looking at that, I'm sure. Gnostics were dualists, like Cathars, and saw there was a good God, absolute and invisible. See, so they had a belief in something of the beyond, absolute and invisible, who, along with the female half, you notice they believed in a female half, known by the name Barbaro, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, produced a series of spiritual beings called eons. They resided in a type of heaven known as the Pleroma, translated as fullness. One of these eons was a goddess Sophia. You'll all recognize this stuff, who wanted to give birth to a being on her own without the involvement of a partner or the approval of the good God, the Father. What she gave birth to, the Gnostics referred to this type of a type of abortion and was named the demiurge, the craftsman. Abortion here meaning something not wanted and ejected. Earlier, perhaps, this is why the demiurge developed as an evil AI type mind. Look at, they know about that stuff too. An evil AI type mind. The Gnostics text described the creature as having a lion-like body with the head of a reptile. Where have we seen that before? In all those Egyptian pictures. Yes, the demiurge was also given the name Yaldabaoth. It is he who is the being that created the entire material realm, including the various astral realms. First, the demiurge created a series of minion helpers, non-organic, similar to a computer known as archons. To create the material world, the demiurge made a mirror image of the good place, Pleroma. The creation was referred to by the Gnostics as a simulation, which became an inverse world of that which it has been copied. Do you ever feel like you're a copy? Everything in our reality is a type of hologram, from the earth to the planets to the beings. The Gnostics claimed that the creator God of the Old Testament was the demiurge and not the good God. See, no wonder why they wanted to get rid of him. Okay, when Sophia had seen the outcome of her birthing attempt, she became depressed, filled with guilt, and wept continually. The Divine Father saw her pain and forgave her. He demanded she stay in the ninth heaven, the layer of the sky closest to the Pleroma, above Yaldabaoth, to find a way to atone for her error. Well, a copy of a copy. That sounds about right. A hologram world. You've heard of that before. At least I have. Everybody, even the scientists say we're living in a hologram. Nothing is real, which makes a lot. See, the Gnostics, not having computers and not knowing any of the stuff we know nowadays, they knew. How did they know? Good question. Did they have knowledge that we don't? Did they have technology? That would be a good one. The demiurge and the archons noticed that God had created a special creature, a heavenly being called Adam. They wanted such a being as well to try to create it, but it would not animate. This is the same concept as found in the Cathar creation stories, showing a definite link. But the question remains, why could the demiurge animate all the birds, fish, and animals, but not the first humans? I have yet to see the researcher provide an answer for the discrepancy. The Gnostic text then claims that the beings from Pleroma, sent by the good God, came to the demiurge and suggested, it's almost like they're working together, came to the demiurge and suggested that they could make the created man live. The Pleroma beings with an S allowed a spark to come into the first man from Sophia. He came to life. This would allow the first human and all humans afterwards to have the spark of the divine within. This would make them more spiritual and more powerful than the demiurge or his archons. At the same time, from this maneuver, the beings allowed Sophia to vindicate her error. Simplifying the story, the archons became jealous of the new man for having more inner power than them. So they made him mortal. A Garden of Eden was created, with which included all possible material pleasures and food in order to distract him from his divine nature. How many times have we talked about distraction? Everything around you is a distraction to keep you from finding that inner spark and all that power that you have hidden. And I'm no exception. I'm trying to find that too, but I spend most of my day dealing with all this other crap. So I never get to look as much as I should for that inner spark and that inner being and all my power that I have. So let's go on. The archons tried to get the power by taking a piece of Adam and placing it in a new creature, Eve. Adam saw Eve as his counterpart in matter, and they joined as one to the Gnostics. Christ now appeared as the serpent, showing them to eat from the tree of knowledge. Gnosis. The Gnosis. But anyway, as opposed to the tree of good and evil as the Old Testament, to which Adam and Eve regained their total knowledge of creation of the archons. So it's saying that to the Gnostics, Christ now appeared as the serpent. So is this like saying that the Christ has an opposite, which would be Satan? There you go. Christ, Satan. Well, you got to have an opposite. Is the Christ the guy that's the bad guy then? He is the serpent. How come the serpent is always the guy telling people what to do? The demiurge now rapes Eve and throws her and Adam out of Eden. Bet you didn't hear that one on the 5 o'clock news. Eve has 2 sons from this, Cain and Abel, also called Yahweh and Elohim, 2 names for God in the Old Testament. Neither of them received the divine spark. These 2 could be seen as hybrids. In other modern thinking, part human, part AI machine. The text says Adam and Eve sometime later had consensual sex and had another son who they named Seth. He gained the divine spark. The demiurge became enraged. Now there was another being with more power than him, so he forced Adam and Eve and Seth to drink the water of forgetfulness. Bet you didn't hear that one in any textbook or the Bible. And the spark of the gnosis was still within all the 3, and as much as all of humanity, who is not a hybrid, has access to the same divine spark passed on through the generations. The texts claim that just as Adam and Eve needed Christ to appear to reveal this to them as the serpent, Christ returned again, possibly in holographic form, To do the same revealing for all humanity, generally in the Nag Hammadi Codex, Christ is referred to by title as the Redeemer. So is that saying he came back? He's a serpent again? So Christ was a serpent? Really makes you start thinking, doesn't it? The Gnostics were clear that the archons, out of jealousy, were constantly attempting to stop humans from reaching their divine spark. Feels like that every day for me. The influence was telepathy and suggestion. And then we have the choice of the following: the hypnotic suggestions or not. Each time we do, we stray one step further from the human center, thus complete control of our mind and energy. In this way, we can overcome their attempts to make us choose error. So that's that story. We're going to read a little more. We're going to go to this book now, and we're going to check this out, what they say in this one. And we're going to start out with the creation. Like I said, this is so crazy. Like, okay, when you read the these verses in English, there's no problem. The Hebrew text and the Greek text and such. Why is the word? We're going to go in the Bible. There's the Elohim. Now, what is the Elohim? The Elohim which is translated as God. Of course, in the Bible, they translated Elohim as God. Shaped like a plural noun. Yes, plural, there's only one God. Or is there? Because Elohim means many. Okay. So, in Genesis 1:26, let us make humans, beings, to look like us. Not like him, like me, like us. Let us make humans, beings, to look like us. Us is plural word. In the image and likeness of ourselves, not in the likeness of myself. In the likeness of ourselves. Okay, then it goes on to say, okay, so these Elohim are plural, creative, and physical. What is it about them? If they could have an image, think about it. If you're an Elohim and you want to make them like you in their image, you have to have an image. Even if it ain't this image, it's going to be an image like what human beings are. Are you going to be, if you're a mean person or a happy person, means you have feelings, means they have emotions. So there you go. Okay, Genesis 2:10-14. A river watering the garden flowed from Eden. From there, it was separated into four headwaters. The name of the first is Siphon. It winds through the entire land of Havilah, and where there is gold. So who cares if there's gold? Does God care about gold? That's a good one. The gold of this land is good. Aromatic resin and onyx are also there. Why would God care about that? The name of the second river is the Gilon. I guess I'm saying that right. It winds through the entire land of Cush. The name of the third river is the Tigris. It runs along the east side of Ashur. And the fourth river is the Euphrates. Okay, if somewhere is in Eden, then humans have been providing with a garden to meet all their needs. Yep, so they provide them with a garden to meet all their needs, just like in the Gnostic text. Bible telling geometrical locations, mineral deposits. Why would the humans care if there was gold there? Why is gold so important? That's the big question. Who told them that gold was important? Is that the first thing you get up in the morning and think about, wow, where can I find some gold? It's important. But apparently they did. Okay, Genesis 2:17. But You must not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, for you eat from it, you will certainly die. Wow, scare tactics and fear. Just like telling a little kid, don't touch the stove, it's hot. And you know what that kid does? Runs up there and touches the stove. So it's like, whatever. So the man gave names. Okay, so then God did the thing with Adam, and we're going to go to Genesis 2:21. So the man gave the names to all the livestock and the birds in the sky and all the wild animals. With all the wild animals they had back then, it must have took them an awful long time. Either that or he was really quick. And besides that, if you're giving names to the animals and all the fish and all the livestock and all the birds in the sky and all the wild animals, who's going to know if you're the only guy out there? That's a good question. If I'm putting a name on it and I'm the only one in existence, is there a sound in the forest if nobody's there to hear it? Put it that way. Okay, so the Lord, but for Adam, no suitable helper was found. So the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep, and while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and then closed him up in the place with flesh. Okay, so my big problem with that is why would God have to take something and one of the man's ribs if he's God? He snapped his fingers and made the first guy. Why couldn't he do it again? Was he a one-trick wonder? Now the snake. Okay, who is a snake? He is not a snake when he turns up. He is intelligent, apparently. He has arms and legs and can speak. He is a significant player, but he arrives on the scene without any kind of introduction or explanation. So who is he? He is not the Almighty, and he's not a human. See, that's what I'm saying. There's more people out there than what they're telling you. He is a kind of being named so far. Yeah, let's see. First thing, okay. Okay. Anyway, in pain. Okay. Genesis 3:16. The pain you will give birth to a children. Childbearing is a punishment or a consequence. All animals have babies. What did you expect to happen? That's what I'm saying. What? There's not one out there that gives childbirth and doesn't have a little bit of pain? I think not. No childbirth has occurred prior to this moment. So it means that Adam and Eve are the only people out there because God created this woman and so forth and so on. So, see, this is where I'm getting the question. If there's just Adam and Eve, who are you naming all these plants and animals for? What are you doing? So that's my thoughts. These are just my thoughts, people. Okay. And Yahweh, the Elohim, said, see, the human has become like one of us. Oh, yeah, this is where they ate from the tree. The serpent says, blah, blah, blah. He eats from the tree and then says, you have become like one of us. Us, who is us? Yeah, who is one of who? Who is God then? Like the humans, we would be like them. This isn't literal. It's trickery of the words. Genesis 4:14. I will be restless wanderer of the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me. That's what happened. So remember the story where Cain killed Abel. Why? Well, so that's the thing. Who's going to kill him? He's the only one. He's going to wander the earth. There's nobody out there but him. Or is there? There's more people? Is this just a certain group of people? A creation? This is just one story, people. The animals went in 2 by 2. Well, here we go to the flood. Okay, but we're going to stop right there because we're talking about creation stories tonight. So what did we learn here? We're going to go into flood stories another day. the next time. Anyway, we're talking about all of this stuff, and it, who's going to kill Cain? Adam and Eve's relatives who are supposed to be very passive and smart and, friendly with God, and they're going to get mean and go out and find Cain and kill him off. That I beg to wonder. So, things like that happen. But it just baffles me. I think the Gnostics had a better story, but it was more complicated. The story of Adam and Eve is so simple. It's like a little kid could tell it. If you go back into Genesis and you read that stuff, it's a very simple story. Adam and Eve, and they bit the apple, and they were bad, so they got kicked out of the garden where everything was good. And we would still be in the garden today if Eve wouldn't have just bit that apple and gave it to Adam. Or would we? Was there ever a garden? What's a garden? You got a garden, it's a section of land where you fertilize and you tend and you plant certain things and you fence it off and keep it safe from the critters out there so you can harvest a crop. Who's to say that we're just not in the Garden of Eden right now and we've destroyed it? You ever think that we've destroyed our Garden of Eden? The earth was a Garden of Eden. There's plenty of plants and plenty of animals that did lots of things. But as humans, we go in, we terrorize, we kill and do stuff to the soil, and we harvest. We don't put a lot back. Not as much as we should. We keep taking, and asking to take some more. Now, do I think it's right? No, but it's something we have to do. We've created this society that's literally dependent upon more and more resources all the time. I mean, it's like there's a fad that goes through. Like I read a lot about the old time things with the beaver skin hats. So everybody had to have a beaver skin hat. So they went out and harvested pretty much all the beavers in the world until there was pretty much no beaver left, almost making them extinct. Almost. It's hard to say, but so everybody could have a beaver skin hat. How crazy is that? Anyway, something to think about. And then when the fad was over, they went to silk hats. And then silk was in big demand. And then the beaver survived because nobody wants a beaver anymore. But until that day happened, the beaver was on the chopping block, and they didn't care how many beaver they killed, depleting all the resources. And there's, eventually they'll repopulate, and they did. But that's how they do. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this. It's been an interesting show with this stuff. I want to keep this short, but if you got any comments or questions, let me know. I'll be doing my best to research more as we go along. Maybe next time we'll talk about the flood. How many flood stories are out there? There's lots of them. Lots of flood stories. Flood stories up the yin-yang. And could all the animals go on the ark at 2 by 2? Makes a good kid's story, doesn't it? Was the Bible the first comic book? That's all I can say. Were the stories real? Maybe they were based on something. But we'll have to see. Okay, remember everybody, go out, do something nice for somebody, be all that you can be, survive through the winter, get to the spring, make it through the years, learn as much as you can. Don't be taken in by all that other stuff. Improve your mind, learn, and remember, be the frequency you want to receive, everyone. Love y'all. Peace, everybody.